Today on the channel, I'm back from Wrestlemania weekend, and we've got a lot of reveals to talk about. And in today's video, we're going to go over all the Mattel Elite reveals from the weekend.
The spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another Mattel WWE reveals video. As today, we're talking all about my trip to Wrestlemania with the WWE Superstar and my visit to the Mattel offices, and we've got a ton of reveals to talk about. So many, in fact. Today's video is just going to be talking about the Elite reveals. I will do a separate video on WWE Ultimates and the stage, the WCW stage, and the Raw stage with my thoughts on that one. Then we'll also do a Superstars, Retros, Basic, and Reckon video, so stay tuned for all these videos here on the channel. As a lot of content, as you can imagine, over WrestleMania weekend for my trip to California. A lot of cool stuff here on the channel, so make sure you do subscribe. You don't want to miss out. But let's dive in here, and we're going to go through all the Elites. We're going to go through traditional Elites, Ruthless Aggression Elites, Monday Night Wars Elites, defining moments, a lot of the specialty Elites, things like that. That's what this video is here about. Got all my pictures here on my handy-dandy iPad. We're going to go through, I'm going to talk about them, I'm going to give a little things I heard, things to talk about, things I saw with my two very own eyes. These two right here that I got in this video. So let's dive in, and we're going to start off with the Ringside Collectibles defining moments. Defining moments are back, and they defined a generation in one way or the other. And some very cool ones here. Now, these are a Ringside Collectible exclusive. They will be sold in a 4-pack or individually. It sounds like the 4-pack. It doesn't sound like it. I saw it with my very own eyes. They all fit in a shipper box, much like we've seen with these retros from Mattel Creations. Very similar with the defining moments here. And one question I did get is, are these like defining moment packagings of years told? And if you guys remember back, you've been a long-time collector of the defining moments line, you guys know the box started off very large. It did shrink down a little bit. Well, now it's shrunk down even more. I would say the box size on these is very similar to the regular Elite line. So it should fit in with those. A little bit disappointed over here because I would have liked it to fit in with the previous versions, but we all know about packaging, wasted packaging, things like that. So it does make a business sense, doesn't make a historic accurate sense for the whole entire line. But we've already had one line change. I guess what's the third one at this point here? So that's the kind of how that goes there. But defining moments are back. Would be interested to see how many times a year we get these packs, but I think there is a plan to continue this out. Of course, the Mattel team talked with them at length. All three members there, Bill McKenna, Steve Ozier, and Robert Rudman. Talked to all three of those guys. Great guys. Had a lot of fun talking to them. But they got big plans for a lot of these lines we're going to talk about here today. And they are working on finishing up 2024 plans as we speak. So as like most companies out there, they plan way in ahead, way in advance. We're going to have a lot more defining moments to come, so we'll have to stay tuned for that. But let's break down these defining moments real quick. First one that caught my eye, Bret Hitman Hart looking good, all pink attack with the black coat on. Of course, Bret Hart we've had in many lines. We're going to talk about more Bret Hart figures in some of these videos here as well. But you got the defining moments packaging on Bret. I should say also there is no window box on the back of the defining moments packaging. We'll talk about that a little bit too, because I think there is a big missed opportunity on one of these figures, and you guys probably know which one. But Bret Hart, an all-time favorite of mine, many of you guys as well. Very cool to see him in this defining moments packaging. Looking really nice, looking good. A lot of reuse, but we see that throughout action figure lines, not just Mattel lines here, but Bret Hart looking really nice. My personal favorite of the four, and this is a shocker, as he's probably my least favorite wrestler of the four, is Shawn Michaels. So really crazy there. It's in his Royal Rumble attire, the old Texas attire there. He's got the chaps going on, the soft goods kind of top going there. And then, of course, the cowboy hat. Just an absolutely stunning action figure in person. If you saw this in person, it looks good in pictures, but even better in person. So I really do like the looks of this Shawn Michaels. The only thing I had, and of course this being a prototype, it's going to be a little off, but his head, it was a little big for his body, but I do think that will be sized down for the official release in the future. But very cool defining moments one there. Of course, Cody Rhodes, the most recent defining moment of all of these. Very cool to get the injury there. Just what an iconic moment. What a defining moment, as one might say. Looking really awesome. Of course, comes with the cowbell accessory. At first, when I saw that accessory, I thought, what's he doing with the snake? Why does he got this big snake with him? So it took me a second to figure out what it was. But he looks really good. Now, it is a little bit of paint by numbers Cody. We're seeing that already with Mattel. We're getting the most out of the molds, of course. Little different outfits, things like that. But the real thing, the real selling point on this pack here is the match this represents. The big bruise, the big, whatever you want to call it, the mess that Cody had to deal with, had to get surgery and was out for quite some time with. Very cool looking figure, an awesome looking figure. I like that one. And then one I was really hoping was part of course, the crowdfunding. We talked about my predictions on that. I got a lot to talk about with those stages as well, from seeing them firsthand, things like that. We'll do that in a separate video, like I said. But I did feel that we were going to get a Mankind Ultimate Edition as part of a Hell in the Cell kind of crowdfunding thing. Did not pan out, unfortunately. But at least we do got Mankind here in a defining moment. And there's not many moments that are more defined than the Hell in the Cell, Undertaker, and Mankind. Talk about fitting perfectly in this line. A fabulous figure. One of my all-time favorites, of course, is Cactus Jack, Mick Foley, whatever we're going to call him. Just so cool. And this brand new head sculpt with the tooth coming through the nose, just like in the match. Absolutely awesome. Absolutely stunning. Absolutely cool figure here. Love the head sculpt. Love the packaging. Of course, the back of this figure, he's got all the thumbtacks sculpted in there. I think that is a really cool idea. Now, if we can just get the Terry Funk with removable shoes, and I will tell you, talking to the Mattel team, that is not off the table. That was not a crazy idea. There is a chance one day we could see Terry Funk with John Deere hat, probably not John Deere, but you know what I mean, and removable shoes. I would love to see it. One of the most iconic moments of all time from this match. Hopefully we get that. Mattel, looking at you. You're on the clock. You're on the clock. But all four of these defining moments, truly defining moments. Absolutely love these figures. Very cool idea. I'm glad they brought this back. Makes a lot of sense. Going to be very convenient for collectors putting it in that 4-pack like that. Just a very, very cool set here, the defining moments. So if you're looking for those, use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10% as they are ringside collectible exclusives, as I have talked about here. The back of these figures as well does have the little blurbs on the back. You guys know I'm a sucker for a blurb, so that's very cool that we got that. Explains what it's from, all that kind of stuff as well. So a very cool set, one that really can't be beat, I think, at this point. I love that it's a mixed match of different characters as well. You get Cody with the newness, you get Bret Hart throwing it back, you get Shawn Michaels kind of in the middle there, and then I guess Mankind kind of in the middle there as well. So very cool set that I think will sell very well for Mattel and Ringside Collectibles. Now we move our attention over to some of the glass cases. If you watch my walkthrough videos, things like that, I show a lot of this stuff in the video. We're going to talk about it here. There was one wall of cases celebrating Elite 100. Of course you're going to celebrate Elite 100, and you could actually buy Elite 100 at the WWE Superstore where this event was held, so I think that was good synergy, working together and getting all that stuff there. But we don't need to do that. We did figure reviews on those, but I wanted to point out the pictures. A very cool set, and it reminded me, too, I need to get a mint on card set of Elite 100, so I'm going to be on the lookout for those sooner rather than later. But then we also saw some upcoming Elites, and some that are going to be here very, very soon by the sounds of things. Commissioner Foley, Mick Foley, very cool, soft goods flannel. You got the commissioner nameplate, you got the judge's gavel, you got the cactus, a lot of accessories, and a very cool deep cut, I would say, for Mick Foley, but one that really does work out. Very excited to have this in my collection. I love the looks of this figure. This could be one of the best sleeper figures of Mick Foley's career, and he's had a lot of figures, as we do know, but love the looks of that one. Got my boy Gunther, and Gunther was at the Superstore. I just missed him, unfortunately, and Steve Osher did say he was blown away that they gave him abs, which he shouldn't be. He's obviously not a figure collector. He's a good brother, but maybe not a figure collector, because the figures, they got to be a little bit more upscale, just a little bit more. So Gunther, he's pretty close to abs, so I think you got to give him the abs, especially in his current look compared to his old ringside collectible look. But very cool, should be a popular one. He impressed a lot of people over WrestleMania weekend. I've always been impressed with him before he was in WWE, so it was good to see him shine on a national, worldwide stage at this point. And this one's going to be pretty good in that red coat and the red gear. Definitely different than his previous Elite. And the cool thing is it's got his new body style and all that kind of stuff. And there's going to be more Gunther figures we're going to talk about in some of these other videos as well. So stay tuned for that. A good-looking figure. Then we got Austin Theory, and I was part of that Q&A panel with Austin Theory. You guys might have saw that on the channel. Check that out. He got those figures gifted to him from Elite 102 is what we're talking about right here. So you do get Austin Theory as the Chase. Two crazy head sculpts on this one. One in a Captain America gear, one in a silver black gear. I like the idea of a Chase one here. As you got, I feel like whenever we get a Chase from Mattel, we should have two different heads so we can make them as different as possible. I want these to be as different as they possibly can be, and I think Mattel did a good job here. Say what you want about Austin Theory, whether you love him or hate him. At least we have differences. There's nothing worse than when we got that Aleister Black back in the day, and the knee pad was like the only thing different. this is what I can get behind. Totally different outfits, different heads. You can make them truly feel like different figures, and that's what we got with these two Austin Theories. Also get a cell phone accessory. How about that? That's not a bad gig either. Then we turn our attention to one very exciting for me. Of course, Johnny Knoxville, a favorite of mine. And Johnny Knoxville was right by me at WrestleMania. His tickets were right above my tickets, which was pretty crazy. Johnny has not let go of his hate for Sami Zayn. Everybody's cheering on Sami. He's dropping the F-bomb, flipping off people that are cheering for Sami Zayn. It was a wild time. You had to be there. You had to be there. But we're getting Sami Zayn from that moment last year. I think a lot of people are going to be buying this Sami Zayn that probably weren't a year ago just because of his recent storyline with the bloodline and everything else. And this is the newest Sami Zayn that we're going to have. You know we're going to get a million Sami Zayns in the future. Well, this is kind of kicking it off here. The big mousetrap accessory is a pretty cool accessory. I think we all have to admit there. That is something we have definitely never seen before. Don't think we'll ever see again either. His head sculpt is a little bit interesting on this Sami Zayn. It's one of those ones you got to see in person, I think. But he's got a weird kind of look to his face. But it is Sami Zayn. You throw a Bloodline shirt, something like that, you can definitely mix and match this one, depending if you want him with Johnny Knoxville on your shelf like me, or if you want to put him with the Bloodline, you can very easily do that. But I think that'll be a popular one. And then we got Edge from his return, starting the Judgment Day and stuff like that. An interesting one. I like Edge. Edge is one of my favorites. I like long hair classic Edge a little bit more. Maybe that's just me. But whenever I look at this figure, it feels like Edge cosplaying as The Undertaker is what my mind goes to. So it's going to take me a while to wrap my head around this one. But of course, you're putting that Judgment Day team together. He's going to fit there for the earlier incarnation before Finn Balor joined, of course. But we do got this Edge. Should be popular. It is Edge at the end of the day. Same thing with Rhea Ripley. Man, her stock has been rising. You guys know I've been a fan for a long time. Very happy to see this figure in this line as well. Part of 102. I think this will be a very good seller, as her stock, like I said, is an all-time high right now. So very cool to get that one in the line. Then we turn our attention to some greatest hits figures, and I was a little bit surprised. I guess I shouldn't have been surprised at the Superstar that they had these on display, but some good, some bad, some ugly. It's not all roses all the time here, and I've talked about the greatest hits before. Perfect for new collectors, perfect for people that missed out, like this Harley race we're going to talk about. Perfect for those collectors, long-time collectors that got this stuff. There's a few bells and whistles, but a lot of it is kind of just a re-release, but you do at least got the new elbows and the pinless joints, things to make it feel different, but not totally different. And what I would really like out of the greatest hits line is give us something different, just a little different. Maybe it's a cloth goods shirt that's different, a different head sculpt, something like that. Make them as different as we possibly can instead of almost feeling like a straight re-release. But it is what it is. This is a set, and everything we're talking about, it's not for everybody. And the greatest hits, not for everybody if you have the old ones. I can see you easily skipping, but it's an option for you if you want to upgrade, you want more, whatever it is. But we do get the Undertaker here, and if you guys remember, this is one of my favorite Undertaker figures ever. I really do like this one. I believe it was a Target Hall of Champions or Hall of Fame. I think it was Hall of Champions, if I'm not mistaken. Tag team title reign, a very good Undertaker. One of my favorite Undertaker figures, upgraded, all that kind of stuff. A bit of a surprise in this line is the DDP. I really wish they threw it all the way back to the old school Legends one instead of the more recent Legends one from Target. But it is what it is. A lot of people did miss out on this DDP for whatever reason. Just not the best DDP, as we do know. But it is DDP. He is back out on retail shelves. Shawn Michaels throwing it all the way back to WrestleMania. I want to say this was a Toys R Us exclusive back in the day. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. But Shawn Michaels, a lot of people would have missed out on this. This is from a few years ago. I think there's going to be a lot of takeaways on this one here. So very cool one. And a lot of people have this one missing some of the accessories, the chaps and stuff. Now they can complete those as well. And of course, we'll get these and we'll compare them to the old versions. We'll make the final judgment on the channel when that time does come. And then we got Blue Tista, and once again, Blue Tista, it felt like it was just yesterday, but it was a couple years ago. One of my favorite Batista figures. One of these days I'll do a top 10 or a top 5 Batista. This will definitely be on it because Blue Tista is an awesome looking figure. Absolutely love this one. Probably my favorite. Maybe. I'd have to think about it. But a very cool figure. I guess it's good to get re-released on this one if you missed out on your Blue Tista back in the day. Some good accessories with this one as well. And of course, King Harley Race, no doubt about it. I wish they would have went with a cloth good cape on this to make there be some differences, but it is what it is at this point. But Harley Hysteria coming to an end very soon, as anybody that wants a Harley will have an opportunity for Harley. It took a while. There was some crazy business stuff with that, but it was all taken care of and fixed here and re-released. They found a spot for him in the Greatest Hits series too, so a lot of people are going to be happy about this one. No doubt this is going to be the most popular one when this set is released. And then finally, we got the Seth Rollins from the WrestleMania cash-in. Once again, I want to say this was a Toys R Us exclusive. I don't mind the idea of making some of these store exclusives back out there again, and if you think about it, Harley Race, Walmart exclusive. Seth Rollins was a Toys R Us exclusive. DDP, Target exclusive. Taker, Target exclusive. Michaels, Toys R Us. The only one that wasn't exclusive to a retailer was the Blutista. That went everywhere. So a lot of these are former store exclusives. Enough time has passed. Lines have ended. It makes a lot of sense what they're doing right here. And I would expect that will probably continue into Series 3, 4, 5, and so on if it goes that long. But Seth Rollins, a lot of people will want this one as well. And it sounds like those are coming summertime 2023. So honestly, summer 2023 traditional retail, the Ringside Collectibles of the world, they could have these fairly soon. I wouldn't be shocked to see these possibly in April, maybe even early May. Once again, stay tuned on that. We'll see what ends up happening there. Same thing it says about Elite Collection Series 102 coming in summer 2023. Could be any day now. I wouldn't be shocked in the next week or so. And then Elite Collection Series 103, I bet you that thing's like end of April, early May. That's just my gut, but I'm not exactly sure. But we go into 103 here, and we started off with the Street Profits. Very toyetic figures, as we know. Street Profits have some great figures. These ones are really great. I love the new head sculpt on Dawkins here. Montez Ford always looks really good. Always love tag teams that match. Always love tag teams in the same series. That's what we're getting here with the Street Profits. Just very cool looking figures. Really do like those a whole lot. Good accessories on these as well. And like I said, Dawkins' new head. I really do like that new head on Dawkins. Then we turn our attention to our old boy, Cody Rhodes, old Stardust. He is joining the line. There was rumors like this was going to happen. There was rumors it was going to get canceled. We're going to talk more about this line in the future here in this very video. So I'm kind of going in order as the presentations went. So there'll be some going back to some of these lines in this video, just letting you guys know. But we're going to go in order through these videos. But Stardust, I'm here for this. I love this. I love the polka dot ladder with it. You guys know me. I'm a sucker for face paint. And it makes a lot of business sense that Mattel, they already have some of the renders, some of this kind of stuff in-house from his time previously. It's an easy way to get some Cody figures out to the market without having to go through all the new stuff and tooling and things. So it makes a lot of business sense to get this out. And I think Stardust, maybe not the most popular, but makes sense to get back in the line. I think a lot of people will want this one. I believe this is from the Mania ladder match where didn't Cardona, I think, won the Intercontinental title in that match, if I'm not mistaken. Then we get Roman Reigns. Prepare for the Roman Reigns overload. It's going to be coming, as we do know. We're getting his Elite. We've had a lot of Roman Elites. Not a lot of difference with this one, but Roman's a guy you got to have out there consistently. He is the champion. We know how that goes. We've seen it before. We'll see it again. But Roman coming back to the line. We got Liv Morgan from her big title win and Money in the Bank cash in the Green and Black Attack. Looking good like a young Overkill heavy metal band, the Green and Black Attack. Looking really good. We've seen a few Livs. Liv, very popular with the audience at WrestleMania as well. So I think this will sell very well for a female figure. As we know, the females don't always sell as well as the males out there. We saw Bobby Lashley in the yellow and black. Is there Bobby Lashley overload lately? That new top picks. We've had a Royal Rumble, a few other Elites over the last year or so. This is another one, kind of paint by numbers Bobby Lashley. And if you don't have him by now, you can definitely pick this one up. Or if you're a completionist, things like that. He does come with the U.S. title belt, which is always a plus. But a little bit paint by numbers Bobby Lashley there. I think that is fair. Then we turn our attention to Legends Series 19 coming in summer, which really could be any time, as we did see Paul Heyman figures have leaked out to some weird store I've never even heard of. So we got to expect these fairly soon. So I would be anticipating those orders coming sooner rather than later. I don't think it'll be summer. They might be on the shelves all summer long, but I think they'll be in our houses in April, possibly May. But of course, we've got the head shrinkers here. Love the head shrinkers, taking it back to the Hasbro days a little bit. Very cool accessories with these. I'm very excited to get Fatu and Samu in the line here. Will be interesting how well these guys sell, though. It's one of those ones you can't have one without the other. It'll be interesting to see how they go. The Hulkster back in the line. Hulkster never met a lineup he was afraid of. And the Legends line coming in hot here at Target. Very cool WCW Hulkster. I think this will sell fairly well. Does need a little bit more hot dog tan. I will say that. Seeing it in person, could have used a little bit more time under the roller in the factory. I would go with that. Then we got the SST, of course, the head shrinker, Samoan SWAT team. You get a little 2-in-1 action here. Man, I'm here for that all day long. I absolutely love the idea. Some of my earliest WCW or NWA memories at the time was the Samoan SWAT team and Paulie dangerously leading the charge. That great tag team division back then. Very excited to get these guys in my collection, both of them. And then, of course, Paulie Dangerously. What is there to say about him? One of the greatest managers of all time. Talk about the ebbs and flows of somebody's career. Just his time in WCW, NWA, his time, of course, in ECW, into the WWE nowadays as we know him. Very cool to get a throwback one here. And this is one you got to get two of. I need one as ECW with Sabu, and I need one with the Samoan SWAT team as well. So very cool. Making us buy a couple of Paulies. That's just the way it goes at the end of the day. But very good figures. They look awesome, even better in person. I believe that. It was just awesome stuff to see. Then we finally get something I've been wanting for a heck of a long time. We've got old Rhythm and Blues, Greg the Hammer Valentine. Really wanted that as the chase back in his Legends figure, but I'll settle for this in the Legends line. Unfortunately, it looks like we get that same breakaway guitar we're all sick of. We want a solid guitar. I hope one day we can get that back in the line going, but it's very cool to get this hammer. Gonna pair him up with the Honky Tonk Man and Jimmy Hart, and all is gonna be right with the world after all these years. Very excited to get this. Looks fabulous. Jacket looks fabulous. Head sculpt, glasses, it's all good. I'm here for the hammer. Very excited about that one. Now we turn our attention to a peculiar one that made a lot of people scratch their head at the old Superstar. And we're talking Ted DiBiase, the old $1 Million Man himself. Don't mention this to my dad, as my dad is still hot at the DiBiase family, as we know. Maybe one of these days I'll get my dad on the channel here and he can spill the tea. He can spill all the tea, tell you all about his pain points with the DiBiase family and how they cheated him as a little kid when he was trying to help them sell tickets at the local gymnasium, I should say. So maybe I can get my dad to tell that story. We'll see. We'll stay tuned, subscribe, all that fun stuff. But we got Ted DiBiase, a little 2-in-1 action here, and this one in the green suit, a very iconic green suit, always reminds me of the Hasbros. We've had it in Jakks, we've had it in Mattel before, but we're getting the Elite style here in the Legends line. Of course, the $1 Million title, gotta have that with Ted DiBiase, but we got a modern day Ted DiBiase head. A lot of people said, what's this from? I don't remember this. Well, a lot of people missed the Cameron Grimes NXT kind of Ted DiBiase LA Knight partnership, feuding, all that kind of stuff. Now, I watch NXT every week, and I really enjoyed that. I thought it was really good. Every week there was a different vignette with Cameron Grimes trying to throw his money around, and then all of a sudden he was one-upped by the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Ended up having a big ladder match with LA Knight for the $1 Million title to create a new $1 Million champion. It was just a great story arc to see Ted DiBiase back at announcing and out in the ring and all kinds of stuff. So it was a really fun time. Weird in this, I would have liked to seen this more as a basic, but as a little 2-in-1 action, it does make sense. I like it. It feels like a little bit of Easter egg because, let's be honest, most people probably won't use this head, but if you want to, you can. But it is cool in its own way, and stuff like this does get me excited, as crazy as it is. I will pair that one up with Cameron Grimes. I already have a custom over there in my collection. I can remove the custom, put this one in. But a very cool looking figure. And then the other Ted DiBiase is in his white suit. We've seen it. I just don't think of it as iconic, but it makes sense. We've had the silver suit, the green suit, the black suit, the gear. What more can you do for Ted DiBiase outside of UWF Ted DiBiase or something? So this does make sense. It's a way to get Ted DiBiase back out there. For those that missed him, there was a lot of people that missed that Chase Legends the last go-around. So I understand what they're doing here. But definitely, I think most people will be using the classic head sculpt, not the old head sculpt. How about that? Triple H, he's a classics guy, and he's in the Legends line as well. An interesting one. It's one my brain doesn't go to as a legend right away, but we are a lot of years removed from Triple H in the ring, especially this era Triple H. So it fits in the Legends line. I think we're going to see more of that in the future as well. Cool soft goods shirt here. It looks like a reuse of the head from the Ultimate Edition, if I'm not mistaken. We'll see how that one goes. Another very controversial one. You know me, I love Mr. Perfect. Give me all the Mr. Perfect figures. But I like what Mattel is doing. Constant learning, constant improvement. You got to take chances in business to see if it moves the needle forward. I get all that kind of stuff. I deal with it all the time. And Mattel is really striking there. They're saying, okay, we're going to try this. And if you guys remember back to the Ringside Collectible exclusive SummerSlam line Undertaker, what a mouthful. He had the removable straps. You could pull the straps down there. Well, it looks like we're getting that same thing with Mr. Perfect. In some angles, when I was looking at the figure, it looked fabulous. But some angles, it made it look a little clunky. Just clunky was kind of the word. And I'm not the biggest fan of that. I love the idea of the technology, but I feel like it just doesn't work as well. And I do anticipate in years to come a little of that Jack sticky disease on this where it might get sticky, and that is really annoying. I have heard some people say that the plastic on the straps and stuff is cracking and breaking. I think that depends on what kind of elements your figures are in, if they're in sunlight, hot, cold, extreme temperatures. So I don't know, but I like the addition of a new Mr. Perfect in the line. I'm just not totally sold on this singlet top. And Mr. Perfect did have his straps down from time to time, especially I remember in the match with SummerSlam with Bret Hart. I guess he had his whole singlet removed basically and was there in his underwear, but he did pull him down from time to time. But I don't remember it quite this era of Mr. Perfect having him down in the yellow singlet. Maybe that's just me. Now, this is a great elite upgrade, as we did get a basic version of this one way back in the day. So I like what I see here. Fabulous head sculpt on the Mr. Perfect as well. So I'm here for it. It's just a very, very interesting looking one. And then one that went up for pre-order as I was flying. I was in the airport. I did my pre-orders for this one. I think it was in Phoenix, so that's where I ordered these. Though we got some Nation of Domination members coming to the Legend line. We got Kama Mustafa and D'Lo Brown really going to fill out that Nation shelf finally. I think this is a slam dunk. Very, very good idea. Very excited for these. And that Kama is next level in person. Even better than pictures. And that's one thing I'll probably say in a lot of these videos recapping the weekend. Pictures do not do some of the things justice, especially that WCW stage. I tell you what, that thing in person had a way different experience than what you see in pictures. I can tell you from somebody that saw it and was hands-on with it firsthand. And more about that in that video. But D'Lo and Kama coming, and like I said, Kama just amazing looking. D'Lo still looking great. D'Lo is going to be the chase in that line as well, as we do know. So you get one with the protector and Nation gear, one without. Customize them how you want, but you get two D'Los coming at you. And then we got the Taker. How about that Undertaker figure? Very cool. I'm not the biggest Taker guy, but something about the old West cowboy version of Taker here with the cowboy hat. I got a soft spot for this one, so I'm all in on this Taker. Looks really, really good. And then maybe the one I'm most excited about is Brother Love. I love you, and I love Brother Love. The Book of Love is next level big. When I first saw that, I was like, geez, that's way too big. And then I thought about, well, he used to have that big podium there, and he flipped through that. This makes sense. And I love the oversized microphone on him as well. Just a very good looking figure. Another, well, I don't know about another gripe. The book's not really a gripe. It is more correct than I thought it was. The face paint on him is a little bit weird. It was kind of, there was two of them there. There was one with the Survivor Series gobbledygooker set up, and there was one in the actual cases. And to my eye, and everybody's eyes are a little different, one had a little bit darker skin tone color. One had a little bit lighter. I'm not sure which one. I think I like the darker, redder one than the more pink one. I think that's what most people will like. So hopefully it's a little darker red in the final versions. But very cool to get a guy like Brother Love in the series. Very excited about that. Now we turn our attention over to the Ruthless Aggression era figures, the Walmart exclusives. Distribution, been a roller coaster over there. I did get to the bottom of some of these distribution issues, and guess what? It was exactly like I thought. As I always tell you guys, I deal with these Walmart buyers and stuff, and it seemed like the issue I was thinking, I'm not going to give Mattel secrets, it was off the record there, but it's exactly, if you watch some of my videos talking about distribution and how some of these things go, it's exactly the way I thought it was. So if you guys know my videos, you've watched them, you're going to say, oh, okay, I get you. But the Ruthless Aggression line is coming to an end. Sadness for some, and I think they will revisit these, and they made it a point to say a lot of these Ruthless Aggression figures will be in traditional elite lines, legend lines, other lines. So they're not getting rid of them, but they're just not going to be in their own specific line. I think that's okay as long as we get these figures. But we are getting an old school version of Miz, kind of debut Miz, and I think this makes a lot of sense here. We got one old school Miz in like Elite Series 1, Series 2, something like that. This does work for me. I think this is a great idea. Very good looking Miz figure with the hat accessory. Just definitely different than we were accustomed to here today with him. One I'm very excited about, and a guy I luckily got to meet over the weekend as he did come to the Mattel offices, if you saw that video, was MVP. MVP, one of my favorites of the Ruthless Aggression era. A guy that I really think didn't hit his zenith. I think he could have went a little bit farther in the wrestling game, but very, very cool. They asked him a question at the Q&A, if you saw that video. They said, MVP, were you team WCW or team WWE back in the day? And he said, I don't know, I was in prison. I was in prison during those years. So that was kind of funny. That was got a good laugh out of me. But very cool with the stocking hat, the glasses. He's balling, as we know, but MVP looking really good there. Then we do get Rock, and we knew the Rock was coming to this, and we just didn't know what Rock, and I'm happy it is this one. Unfortunately, we got that breakaway guitar again. Let's get rid of that thing. But we got the breakaway guitar, but the real selling point on this Rock for me is that big old belt buckle. Just something out of Waylon Jennings' closet is what it reminds me of. Absolutely love that. A very cool version of Rock, and it feels different than some of the other Rocks we've received in the past. So I think that is really cool. We saw Edge in packaging there. Edge looking good, and we've talked about that figure before. But this is possibly my favorite Jakks Ruthless Aggression Edge, now in Elite form. Very happy. I love this camo purple and silver and white and black. Just a very good looking figure. Very excited to have that one in the collection. And then another one. This line's playing a lot of hits, no pun intended. But the Tori Wilson looked really good in person. I really like this Tori. We'll see how she sells. You get, what is her dog? Chloe? I think it was Chloe. We're getting the Chloe figure with it, or figure of the dog, statue, whatever we're going to call it. Just a very good looking figure. The pink really pops on this one. A sleeper figure is the old Tori from this set. And then another one I'm very excited about is JBL. If you go back in the channel's infancy, this channel right here, I did a special July 4th patriotic unboxing of this JBL figure in the Jakks, and his head broke out of the package. I think I had my first ever meltdown on the channel. So search out JBL, a Great American Bash Jakks figure. You can see that. You can go back in the history of the channel. My hair was a little bit shorter back then. But this JBL looks fabulous. This is going to be good to pair up with the Jakks version. Can't wait to do that unboxing. I think it's coming sooner than later as well. Very excited about that one. Then we saw ones we've already unboxed here on the channel. John Cena, Kevin Nash, Shelton Benjamin. We've seen and talked about those already. Now we turn our attention to an interesting one, and this one does partner in with that WCW stage that is being crowdfunded as we speak. You got to vote with your wallet on that one, and we'll talk more about that. We've already talked a lot about that. But there is a Monday Night Wars set coming. It's going to be a Walmart exclusive. It is going to be 4 figures and a Build-A-Figure. Very cool idea here. And it goes back to my original stage video where I said I wish they would have announced this stuff day one. Because at first, when everybody clamored and we got the announcement of the stage, it was like, well, it's just a stage. What about the figures? Well, I think Mattel could have done better shortly, as they could have put in, here's what you're getting. Here is what the soft goods look like for Rey right off the bat. And they also should have announced that, hey, you're also getting a Nitro Eric Bischoff ring that's sold separately, and we're going to make an entire wave of a Walmart exclusive Monday Night Wars. I think with all of that, I mean, we know it now, of course, but with all of that it's going to be a Monday Night Wars universe coming at you, and it's going to be bookend by 2 stages. I think that could have helped a little bit, but we'll see. Like I said, we're going to talk about that in length over the next couple of weeks in the channel, and I think there's been some misses, there's been a lot of hits, and there's been a lot of unfortunate things about this stage that really Mattel can't control, we really can't control. We'll get into it, just stay tuned. But we got grayscale renders of some of these. Of course, The Undertaker, you can't have the Monday Night Wars without The Undertaker. Looking really good there. Stone Cold Steve Austin, another guy of the Monday Night Wars, as we do know. He's got his pop can there. I think that's a Diet Mountain Dew he had there. Yes, it's true. Diet Mountain Dew, no beer with Stone Cold. So we get that one. Now, Lex Luger is going to be the Build-A-Figure, and that's going to be a turn, as usually we get suited figures or little kids as Build-A-Figures. Nope, we're getting actual figures, and I did confirm Lex Luger is going to have his Seinfeld puffy shirt from that night in the Mall of America. He got some Pastamania, went over and surprised everybody. But very cool to get a Lex Luger Build-A-Figure, and we're going to see one more cool Build-A-Figure in a little bit here in this video. But I'm here for this. I love my suited figures. I love that way to get some of those deeper cuts in there. But this is a perfect way to get some deeper cut wrestlers into the line. And Lex Luger's not a deeper cut, but I would say his puffy shirt is a little bit of a deeper cut. And I'm here for it. I think it's going to be a really cool when it comes to fruition and we get the whole thing there. Then, of course, you got the Hulkster looking really good. He's got the grayscale here, and we're going to see some color pictures, renders of these later on in this video, so stay tuned to that. And then the one that's probably everybody's going to want is the debut Scott Hall, of course, kicking off the Monday Night Wars in a lot of ways, really taking it to the next level. I guess Lex Luger kicked it off. Scott Hall took it to the next level with Kevin Nash and the rest of the crew. But very cool, Scott Hall. A lot of us did assume we would get this in maybe an Ultimate form, and I'm sure we might one day. We'll see. But then we turn our attention to a little bit of the Q&A event that was later on that night. I was at the Superstore, I want to say it was Friday. What is time? I don't know, but I think it was Friday night they had a Superstore Q&A panel after SmackDown Hall of Fame. Quite the show there. Conan stepping up, man. Speech of a lifetime by Conan. Awesome. If you haven't checked out that speech, man, I knew Conan was a good speaker. I didn't know he was as riveting as he was. Man, kudos to Conan. I even sent the guy a message, and he did get back to me. I was like, you know what? I normally don't do this, but for somebody that has to do a lot of speaking, I was blown away. And he definitely appreciated it. And then he said, Kyle, do you listen to my podcast? And that's what he always says to me, but that's neither here nor there. Well, let's get into some of these renders. We saw Braun Breaker. We knew Braun Breaker was coming. Really the future in a lot of ways. We'll see what happens with him, but we're getting a regular edition and a Chase edition. I really love the edition here in the Rick Steiner kind of singlet. It throws it back to the old Jakks Classic Superstars days if you're a longtime collector. very similar. Love the looks of this one. I think this will be a very popular first time in the line. I don't assume to be a last time in the line. Then we got Solo Sequoia. A lot of people want Solo. A lot of people want this figure, but a lot of hubbub. There was a lot of chatter around saying the body type is all wrong. So we'll see if that gets changed somewhere along the line. Love the extra hands. Love the soft goods shirt. Love to get him in the collection. I hope they just can fix the body, but if they can't fix the body, he has the shirt. That's going to cover up a lot of that stuff, so I don't think it's the end of the world or anything like that, but very cool to get him first time in the line as well. And then one that is a little controversial, unfortunately, as they announced this, the world goes crazy, and just a couple hours later, it's like, oh my gosh. And that was one of the questions on the Q&A panel at my visit to Mattel. If you watched that video, you saw it. They said, what are you guys going to do about Rick Steiner? I am very concerned that we will get Rick Steiner pulled. I'm not getting into the politics of everything. I mean, I don't know, Rick, if you got those beliefs, which he obviously does, you think you'd keep them to yourself if you're at a thing like that. I'm not going to be screaming. I mean, I'm not going to stand up at a table at WrestleCon and let the world know that Rio is the greatest wrestler in the history of the world, in the universe. I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to keep those beliefs to myself, and I'll tell you guys about it. But I'm not going to be screaming, especially stuff that he was screaming to, what was it, Giselle Shaw or something? I mean, obviously there's two sides to every story. I don't know what his side would be. I don't know. Nobody's got video of it. It's crazy with all those people. Nobody has video. But why would you make something like that up? It's just mind-boggling. I just can't get it. And really, really wanted this Rick Steiner figure. And this blew a lot of, a lot of applause from the audience, because a lot of us heard the leak and we thought it was going to be varsity Rick Steiner. They gave us WCW Steiner. You seeing a theme with the stage and everything else going around? Makes sense, and this is one we need eventually, and I'm fine. I love the head on this Rick Steiner. I love the leather jacket. We got our NECA Chucky figures. We can bring him to the table with Rick Steiner. There's a lot we can do with this Rick Steiner, and I am very concerned we will never see this Rick Steiner, and our dreams of the Steiner brothers are gone. I really, unfortunately, if I was a betting man, I'd say that is possible. That is pretty possible going to happen. I don't know. We'll see what happens. There might be apologies. Who knows where this will go? It's just strange to me with everybody recording things. There would be some kind of proof to this instead of he said, she said, but definitely people have said, yes, it was said. So I don't know. I'm not the moral police. I'm not that, but I am the figure police. Yes, I am. Here's my badge. No, but I would really like to see Rick Steiner figures. A lot of us want old school Steiner figures, and it's like so sad that there's a really good possibility we got what we wanted just to be the rug swept right underneath us. So we'll see. But at the end of the day, this Rick Steiner does look really, really good. And then we turn our attention over to AJ Styles. And, at this WrestleMania weekend event, there was a lot of people around. I spent 6 hours at the Superstore talking with people, talking to the Mattel guys, things like that. Obviously, wrestling fans all over the world. Well, it was cold in LA. I was wearing a hoodie one day. I was walking the streets of LA, checking out the Target, checking the Walgreens, walking in between WrestleCon, and I met a lot of people. Shout out to all you people that wanted to spend time talking to me and hear what I had to say, getting a picture with me. Always appreciate it. Always love talking shop with everybody. But I did have this family come up to me, and they were, oh, hey, and I was actually in front of the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar statue outside of the LA Convention Center, Staples Arena, Crypto Arena, whatever it's called. And this family came up to me, can we get your picture? We love you. We love watching you. And I'm just thinking, okay. And they were foreign. I'm not sure exactly where they were from, but they were really nice people. So maybe I didn't understand everything. I don't know. But anyways, I got the picture with them, and I got in there and everything. And then the dad and the kid said, AJ, we hope we see you back real soon. And they thought I was AJ Styles. And I didn't have the heart to tell them no, but I thought they were talking because a lot of people, watch the YouTube channel, things like that. But they actually thought I was AJ Styles, which was really funny. Obviously, it's a joke here on the channel, but that's what they thought. They were taking a picture with AJ. So I didn't want to break their heart. So if you see anybody posting that picture, please copy them in. I would love to see that one. But I kind of laughed at that pretty good, as you can imagine. But AJ looking good here. Give me all the AJ Styles. Get AJ Styles back in the ring. Phenomenal forever. Keep the AJ Styles coming. Johnny Gargano, another guy, he was everywhere. We saw him at the Q&A panel as the gobbledygooker. He was making all kinds of appearances. As everybody knows, if you've ever met Johnny Gargano before, he is one of the coolest guys of all time. I've met him a couple of times. He is very, very nice because he doesn't care. He's said it before. If I'm eating dinner with my family, come say hi. I don't care, which that could be dangerous, but he did say that before. He will take a picture with anybody. He is very appreciative of his fans, so he truly is a really good guy. So you got to root for a guy like Johnny Gargano. And we're getting him in the old Elite line as well. So I think that'll be a really good figure. He's got quite the popularity, especially on the online community. So I think that figure will do really well. Then I talked about Stardust, seeing some more Stardust in the future. We are going to see more Stardust in the future. As we got the Chase edition in the blue. Very cool, very good idea. And you guys know me, I'm a sucker for face paint at the end of the day. Now we turn our attention to Saturday, where I got a sneak peek at a lot of things in the Mattel Q&A Center. And I was one of the first general public people, if not the first, to see this, as they split us into two different groups. I was kind of leading the charge at the front of the line with Steve Ogier from Mattel, and I came on this case right away, and this was the first figure I saw, followed by a little Captain Lou and Vader Superstars, and that'll be in a different video, remember. But we got the American-made Hulk Hogan from his initial title run back in the day. Very, very cool figure here, this Hulk Hogan. Are we Hulk Hogan'd out? I'm not necessarily, but I know some are, but you can vote with your wallet and not pick it up. But we know Hulk Hogan, at the end of the day, he sells. He brings eyes to lines. That's what happens. That's why he's part of that WCW stage. Without Hulk Hogan and big, big names like that, I'd love to have Mortis. Mortis doesn't move the needle in the same degree Hulk Hogan does. That's just the honest truth. That's the facts at the end of the day. But this Hulkster looks really good. Then we're getting The Rock, Rocky Maivia, returning to the line. It's been a while since we've had a Rocky Maivia, so we're going to get that. Wouldn't be shocked to see that in the greatest hits in the future, possibly. But it looked really good in person. Then some of these were interesting. Obviously, prototypes, works in progress, things like that. But we saw Batista looking good. Batista always in the line. Dominic Mysterio here in a John Cena shirt. Very interesting. Dominic looking really good. Of course, Dominic, he's at an all-time high right now coming off of WrestleMania. His popularity is all-time high. I think this will sell really well. His last Elite figure sold really well, so I have no doubts this one will. Judgment Day style, things like that. Looking really, really good. I believe this one's Solo again. I think this is the kind of mock-up of Solo. A lot more to come on this one, but does look really good. Once again, we just need that body fix. I think he just needs a bigger torso, but like I said, I think that shirt can hide a lot of that. Beth Phoenix, this looks tremendous. I believe this is what, Royal Rumble? Was that what this one was? And I think this is actually in the Royal Rumble line, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit. We saw some early images of that. Same thing with Brock Lesnar, no stranger to the Elite lines. Brock making himself known again just recently after the night after WrestleMania as well. Survivor Series line, Shawn Michaels, the little Dutch boy that could, looking good here. We'll see some more renders of this one, but here's the early prototype. Becky Lynch, you know, I'm not the biggest Becky Lynch. I don't hate her, I don't dislike her, but this figure looks tremendous, this Becky Lynch. The soft goods here, the new stuff, a lot of tooling went into this one. So if you're a Becky Lynch fan, this could be one of the best Becky Lynch figures of all time. Next up, we see Drew McIntyre, early prototype of Drew McIntyre. It's funny how many DMs and messages I saw saying, oh, we're finally getting Val Venus, as a lot of people thought that was a towel. Unfortunately, no Val Venus yet, but Drew McIntyre. You know, Drew, very toyetic, but just kind of missing something to have a lot of different figures out there. So I guess you got to put another one, but I don't know how much different this one will be from some of his past incarnations. Guess we'll stay tuned on that one. Charlotte Flair coming into the line again. No stranger there. Stone Cold Steve Austin, a pretty good Austin. I can see this one being a very popular one for a lot of collectors. This one's well on its way to being done. Looking really nice. And then one I talked about, we got the boy Virgil. Man, Virgil finally coming in wrestling gear. He'll have those candy striped pants from back in the day. And he is going to be a Build-A-Figure, which makes a lot of sense because, let's be honest, everybody knows Virgil, but does everybody want Virgil? So he's almost a perfect Build-A-Figure. And it's cool to get a wrestling Build-A-Figure, just like we talked about with Lex Luger. So very cool to get Virgil in the line. There's that Johnny Gargano figure we talked about. Cool to see Johnny again. Ridge Holland, an interesting one. Sounds like he's going to be in the Royal Rumble wave. I don't know. It feels weird for him to be in a pay-per-view series, but they always do have some current talent in a lot of those series. He's going to be the current one there. You partner him up with Pete Dunne, Sheamus, maybe throw Drew McIntyre off to the side. We can get after that one, but we saw Ridge Holland. Io Sky, another one. I think this makes sense. This will be her first Elite. I believe, what, she have a basic before. Looks like they used a lot of Kairi Sane arm parts. You guys see that tattoo there? I believe that is the case, but it should be good to get Io Sky as well. Maybe she has that same tattoo. I don't know. I'm not familiar with her tattoos. Jerry the King Lawler, very excited for this Jerry the King Lawler. It was so cool to see Jerry Lawler at the Hall of Fame in that tape segment for my boy Andy Kaufman. Love that a whole lot. We get into Survivor Series Jerry Lawler. There's so many Jerry Lawlers they can get. I'm very excited for some of these other Jerry the King Lawler looks towards the future. We'll see what happens there. Another guy that stock is on the rise. They say he's the future of wrestling. Carmelo Hayes, they got an early prototype of him here. Nice soft goods coat. I'm here for that as well. He is the new NXT champion, as we do know. Then we got Braun Strowman, no stranger to the line. I guess they got to get him back in there. It'd be interesting how Braun sells, as there's still old Brauns in some Walmart stores, maybe yours. This one should have the red pants, it sounds like, so at least he'll have some difference to him. So if you're looking for a red pants Braun Strowman to put with your Ricochet figure, you're in luck right here. Then we keep on continuing on with Tori Wilson. So we saw the mock-up images of the Ruthless Aggression line. We talked about them earlier, but a very good-looking figure and package. Then we saw a Dakota Kai, a very interesting render. I'm all for Dakota Kai figures. I do enjoy her work. The render on the face looks just a little bit off. Like the eye is just kind of a little bit off there, but maybe that's just me. Love the extra hands. Got the, Hang 10 hand signs there. Looking really good with Dakota there. Then we go to the Legends series, some of the mock-up pictures that went up for pre-sale. I think it was last Thursday, like I said. You got D'Lo Brown. You got the Chase and regular edition there for your D'Lo fans. Got to get both of them. Kama Mustafa, one that I said really blew me away how good that figure looked in hand. Oh, Cowboy Undertaker, get me this one. I'm coming around to these Undertaker figures, I guess. I've been very impressed with the last few Taker figures, but I really like this one a whole lot. Brother Love, what can I say? I just hope the face is more red than pink. That is my goal there. Then more back into some Ruthless Aggressions. This JBL. Love the looks of this JBL. Can't wait to get this one in hand, hopefully sooner rather than later. And then the best of the Monday Night War. We saw the grayscale images earlier. Well, here's the official images, I guess, renders of the Hulkster. He's got the chain, got the glasses, got the headband, the Hulkster belt. Got those Hulkster gloved hands like off the Ultimate Edition. A very cool early version of NWO Hulkster. Love that. Love the new head sculpt on that one as well. Then we saw Stone Cold Steve Austin got that camo hat. I did say I felt that we would see a camo hat kind of defining moments Austin brought back. Kind of in a way, this is pretty close to it. So we do have that. And he does have the extra big hands to hold that can as well, I do believe. So make note of that. But a lot of Austin fans will be happy about his return to the lineup. And then we did see the Monday Night Wars Undertaker. This render is an interesting one. It looked really good in the grayscale, but this render, it makes him look a little bit chunkier in the face. Maybe that's just me, but he's got that big bushy goatee going on there. But definitely an iconic version of the Undertaker. As far as Supernatural Undertaker, the Ministry Undertaker was always my favorite, so I'm happy to see some of that returning to the line. Then Monday Night Wars Scott Hall, you can't beat this one. Really a defining action figure right here, a defined a generation. Who knew the old Canadian tuxedo, the old Jay Leno look would be over so well, but it was. Then we're going into Series 102. I won't spend a lot of time on this. We got Austin Theory, of course. Commissioner Foley, the sleeper one of that set, if you ask me. Then you got Rhea Ripley, always popular Rhea Ripley, as we do know, especially coming off of Mania. After Rhea Ripley, we got, let's see, Gunther. Oh, yes. Once again, Gunther is here in red. Like I said, I really like the looks of this one. I like the new body mold with him, and I like the last one was black outfit and gear. This one is red. Truly a yin and yang. Make him as different as possible. I think that's the way to go. Looking really nice. Now we just need Imperium tag team set to go along with them, or two elites, whatever, but we need to get that whole team completed. I hope that comes sooner rather than later. Then we got Edge-a-Taker. It just reminds me of the Undertaker here, but the edge is there, looking good. Sami Zayn, of course. I said it was a little weird in the mouth there, but very interesting Sami Zayn figure, but I do think this will be a very popular figure for a lot of people. Now we go back to the Mattel Design Center where I was in there, and I did snap a picture off the wall of a big Papa Pump Scott Steiner. So I truly do believe we'll see a Scott Steiner figure before the Nitro stage comes. If it comes, hopefully it comes. I think we'll see an Elite Steiner, as it looks like they already got it in the works. They had the big picture up on the wall. Sounds like they've already got working on Scott Steiner, so I thought that looked really good. Then at the Q&A panel, they talked a little bit about the Legends packaging. They said there's a lot of people that love the new Legends packaging. There's people that long for the days of the old Legends packaging. Well, they brought them together here in this mock-up for Series 2022, or Series 22, I should say. Undertaker is not necessarily going to be in the set. They just used him for mock-up purposes. But it's going to be kind of the angles of the old box on the new box. I think that is pretty cool. Obviously, I'm a purist. Keep the box size the same. But they do mix those up. They do change it. That's the history of Mattel. And I think they did a really good job with this Legends line. And this Legends line has outpaced the old Legends line for series. So it's definitely very successful at the end of the day. Target must be very happy with the Legends sales. A lot of people do say, well, these legends must not be selling. They always go to clearance. That's not necessarily the case out there. They do like the strong sales, and they like the exclusive nature of it, of course, at Target. Then we got Grayscale Virgil here. Virgil looking only like Virgil could look, but I'm happy about that one. Then we got the Grayscale Ridge Holland. Looking good. A lot of cool accessories to this one, even the face mask as well from the time. We saw the soft goods jacket in the prototype, so that'll be a good figure. Brock Lesnar, I think Brock always sells pretty well. Not a lot you could do with Brock, as we do know, but a very good-looking Brock Lesnar figure. Batista, can't go wrong with Batista. It feels like it's been a while since we've had Batista in the line, and I was shocked Batista wasn't in the Hall of Fame this year. Maybe next year. Maybe next year. Probably not. Probably not. But we got Batista coming. And then we got Beth Phoenix. We saw that one. Another really good-looking Beth Phoenix figure. Of course, those last set of figures with Virgil would be part of the Royal Rumble set. Coming sooner than later. Coming this fall, I would say. Then we get Jerry the King Lawler. I'm very excited about this Jerry the King Lawler, like I said. Love the jacket on him. Love the traditional red and black from his WWE run time frame. Looking really good. You got the crown as well on him. And then, like we talked about, the Build-A-Figure for this Survivor Series wave is the British Bulldog in blue jeans. Not the most iconic Bulldog, but a good-looking Bulldog. We did get this with Big Boss Man as part of Championship Showdown maybe a year ago or so. Cool to get this as an elite version. I guess I can retire that basic finally. And we got the little Dutch boy Shawn Michaels in all the brown colors. Interesting looking one, that is for sure, but a lot of people really want a lot of these Ruthless Aggression Shawn Michaels, myself included, and we're finally getting that here, so I think that'll be another popular one. And then Charlotte Flair in the Survivor Series line. Female representation here. Get the title belt, get the mystical hands with her as well. All the black attack, looking good as far as Charlotte Flair goes in the Survivor Series line. Kevin Owens, another guy that's very popular right now, really had two back-to-back traditional Manias. They were just next level. Main eventing Mania 2 years in a row is a pretty big thing to do. Kevin Owens has done that, but we do get Kevin Owens back in the Elite line. And it looks like that is it. That is all I have on my Elite stuff. A lot of Elites going on from Mattel. Now, we're going to turn our attention over to Ultimates and Stages, and then another video on Wreckin', Retros, Superstars, and Basics. So I got 3 videos recapping what I saw, my thoughts, and a few nuggets along the way as well. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel. Subscribe to the channel, as I always do say. Don't forget to give the old Hacksaw Jim Duggan thumbs up. Don't forget about the Patreon, where you can get early access to the videos, bonus content, early content, all kinds of stuff over there, and it's your best way to support the channel. You can also support the channel at ProWrestlingTees.com, search Kyle Peterson, and then don't forget to hit me up on social media. That's your best way to stay included in everything that's going on here on the channel. SirPaul64 on Twitter, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson. So for the Mattel Elite Reveals video, I am Kyle, and I'll see you guys all real soon.